The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble. We're back. It's Wednesday, which means we're back to our usual pop culture news reviews and a little bit of booze. And, today we got a good show for you. We're going to be talking about Sweet Tooth, Netflix series, and whether or not it was a massive disappointment for anybody who ever read comics. Speaking of massive disappointments for anyone that ever read comics, we'll also be reviewing Red Sonja, the Queen of Plagues animated feature? Question mark. And, I'd appreciate it if you guys didn't step all over my intro.
I'm sorry, it's just so good. I love it. I apologize. I don't mean to. I'm done. I'll be quiet.
It'd be funnier if it was just my face and then you just guys laughing in the background. But
do that, Jay.
Either way, we also have a little bit of news and gossip and all that good stuff. With me is Jay, who's directing and transitioning all the shots. Say hello, Jay.
Hey, what's up?
And then the other dude that was laughing is Larry. That laugh, that infectious laugh, is more infectious than the coronavirus.
Cheers.
Yeah. And if that sound serves me right, I think that might have been Oz. Oz might be here.
Whoa! There he is.
Are we on the air yet? Hi, air people.
Why would he imply that Fantastic Forum doesn't start on time? What is this? Who is this guy?
I don't know, but I'm mad he got a haircut. He's supposed to wait till he comes to LA.
I'm never coming to LA.
Oh.
But yeah, we're here and we're queer. It is Pride Month. And as usual, we are brought to you by the good people at allgames.com. Scott Rubin. I don't know how Larry does it. He thanks them every week and I forget and I don't know how to transition to that. But also you can join in on the fun and talk about the conversation and you got to listen to the lady tell you how to do that. Stop laughing, Larry.
I'm sorry. You're doing great. I love it. It's better than mine.
Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
But yeah, you go on fantasticforum.live and you'll get the button and function and ability to call in and join us, just like Oz popped in, and you can tell us what we're doing right or wrong or what we could do better. As always, you could always jump in and chat or in the comment section here. There's a comment here from our good buddy Tiger Claw. It says, so what did you guys think of episode 2 of Loki? That reveal of who that other variant is. I haven't seen it myself. I'm waiting till Friday.
Was I supposed to recognize who that was? Because I did not.
I mean, I don't know who it is, so
they tell you.
They
tell you in the episode. They tell you.
Is it Mephisto?
No, don't. I'm not
gonna say who.
Okay, thanks.
They literally tell you who it is. The person that gets to talk to this person tells you who it is. How do you not know who it is? That's what I don't get.
Yeah, I think I was on my phone playing chess while I was watching. So maybe I missed it during one of my moves. The show's pretty compelling. So
except for the very end.
During it. That's sarcasm. It's not a compelling show. It's
Loki's not. You didn't like the first episode?
No,
well, you're right. You talked about it, and you were like, eh. You were eh.
And this episode was even more eh.
Really?
My phone during parts of it.
Oh, jeez.
Joe hates research.
And I don't know. I'm not feeling Loki. I'm not feeling this show.
Who's getting killed in the background? Somebody's like being tossed through a window.
Larry's
Oh no,
watching.
that was me. Sorry.
Head in chat says I didn't even know a new ep came out. It'll come out every Wednesday. If you heart them on Twitter, they will tweet at you each time it comes out. That's how I knew to remember to watch.
Do they really need somebody to like remind you that it's coming out? Is that how it is?
I disagree.
No, kind of. Yeah, they do. It's like, but that's not that's part of them and part me also.
It's definitely all Jay.
It kind of happened with WandaVision too, and I actually did enjoy WandaVision while I was watching it, but I really needed Paul Tobin to tweet about the episode to remind me to watch it.
Paul Tobin specifically, not someone. Paul Tobin.
Well, it just always happened to be him. Like, he was really talking about it a lot. Like, he was the main guy.
Oh, it wasn't happenstance. That was by design. Paul Tobin was like, I'm going to get Jay to watch this.
And, and that was a show I actually did like. So I definitely need it for Loki because this show, it's not so good. It's like I would equate it to that noise we're hearing.
Yeah.
That's Loki.
Sorry.
That's like that time warp thing they give them to put them in that little loop. It's like, oh yeah. I'll watch it on Friday. I got a lot to do on Wednesday, so that having it come out on Wednesday. But
if I was at home, I would probably have watched it, but I'm traveling.
Oh, so you didn't even watch it?
No, I haven't seen it.
So me and Jerry, the only two that watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, you fake ass Marvel fans.
We already knew that about Larry.
Wait, what? How am I a fake Marvel fan? I'm the biggest Marvel fan.
Mo is more into independent stuff, and we know that up front. Like, he could take it or leave it. But you, Lawrence, really?
Listen, I am not at home. I literally would have to watch it on my phone.
Larry, what Marvel comics did you buy at the shop on this new comic book day?
I bought Planet Size X-Men #1.
Yeah.
I bought New Mutants. I bought look, the bag is right here actually. Hold on. Look. Because that's look. So I'm over here on the East Coast. So I went to East Side Mags.
Oh, okay.
Which is
look, forget I asked. I was just
No, it's too late. You opened up this can of worms already, see? And so I got my X Corps #1 here, this is the variant cover.
That one. I got it. I get you.
Wait, what?
I see why you bought that one. Walking
and
by,
then I got
grab it. I get it. I got you.
You're hilarious. And then I got New Mutants here. This is what Monet on the cover. See, this is the runway variants.
Yeah.
And that's see, and look. Remember before I tell you how they connect, right?
Yeah, because I see the wing.
Yeah, see. Oh, I don't know if I'm doing that right, but I hope I am.
Oh, there's a scene. That's horrible. There's this. Oh, I see it now.
There it is.
You didn't happen to put the call-in link into our fantasticforum.live, did you?
It should be up, but we might want to double check.
Heck just says he tried to call in. And
you know what? No, I didn't put the new one. I suck.
All right. So
actually, we're pre-recorded. This isn't live.
No. Look, I need somebody to update it. I'm sorry.
No, it's too late now. What we'll do right now, Jay, I posted the link in our private chat here. If you could just cut and paste it and put it in the comments section.
Yeah, put it in the comments section. I'm sorry.
From there.
Yeah. And then I got
yeah.
Demon Days, Marco,
Oh wow!
and
Wait, show that again.
Demon Days,
Back up.
Marco. Yeah, this is that
Wow, that's nice. I like that
Pe-
cover.
Peach Momoko, right?
yeah, Peach Momoko art. This is like the book that she actually is doing the interiors for. Like Peach. It's interesting because Mo and I were actually having a conversation with Mike Wellman, the owner of owner of Atomic Basement, and he was talking about how Mike, when he did his was doing the movie screenings, he would have different artists do covers for the or not covers, but do the movie posters. And he had Peach Momoko do the one for Captain Marvel, which was, of course, back in the day, but that was before
Yeah.
Peach Momoko was like Peach Momoko. Like
Right.
these days, like people pay ridiculous amounts of money
Yeah, that's what
just for.
That's when
Huh?
it was like $30 on Artist Alley for a creep
Right, exactly.
that you can
That
now
might
put on eBay for like $1,000.
exactly.
I was
Exactly.
mad that I didn't go see that screening.
Listen, we literally have the poster like on our wall in the room that I stream from, and I didn't even realize that was Peach Momoko. Because don't get me wrong, like her stuff
Fake
is
Momoko
nice.
fan. Fake ass Peach Momoko fan.
Well, here's the thing. That's what I'm about to say. I'm not a huge Peach Momoko fan. Like I don't feel like
Fake ass.
it's like her art is nice, but it's not great to me. And the fact that people think it's that good is it baffles me. Like I'm not saying like she's like the Little Wayne of comics or anything like that,
Larry.
but
You know what, Larry? Before you get canceled, I'm gonna play this
what?
news. We'll do a little bit of news segment and then we'll jump into reviews. We got Hex on the line.
Am I about to get canceled or no?
Yeah, man. Look, man. This isn't the time to do that, man.
I don't even know what we're talking about. Why am I getting canceled? Am I that old already? I don't even know what I say.
Theater, comic book theater.
I pressed the wrong button. I was so
It
nervous.
happens.
I was so
It
nervous.
I like Little One.
Comic book news.
We should have a
Comic book
like her.
news.
Well, not like that, but like that's Larry laughing at his hatred towards Peach Momoko.
Wait,
That's what it is.
are you seeing? Like, what Peach Momoko have you seen?
What do you mean?
I'm looking at this Usagi cover,
Mm-hmm.
and this
Lawrence-
is amazing.
Lawrence thinks that Peach Momoko did the design for Lil Wayne's tattoos on his face. That's why.
Well, no, look, here's the thing. We know Larry. Larry is the most misogynistic person on the show here. Like we already know, he doesn't like
What?
female characters.
Wait,
doesn't
what?
Yeah,
That sounds false to me.
yeah. Well, that's what they all say. I'm sure some of your best friends are female.
You're hilarious for that. First of all, that's true. But
Yeah.
besides the point, no, the Usagi cover is fantastic. I agree with you 100%. Like, in fact, I feel like that style or her style lends itself to Usagi and that like to that more so. I'm just saying, like, she does other stuff, and it's not like it's bad or anything. It's just like it's not so good that I understand why we're like, oh, we need to make sure that any variant cover that she does is the most expensive one.
I don't know. I like these two covers.
But see, that's because that company has good talent backing it in terms of picking talent. Man, look, IDW, man. IDW.
Hey, listen.
Who owns shares
Like-
in IDW? Right here.
Look, Marvel,
I tell them what
as many Momoko variants they can have, they get. Or as many as she'll give them, they have. So
Yeah, now that IDW put her on the map.
that's hilarious.
Can I
Now that Atomic Basement put them on the map.
Anytime Omoko creates a variant, Lawrence Young TVA's it.
Oh,
That's
you're
really
trying
funny, Oz. Like I gotta give Oz a lot of props for that. That's hilarious.
I'm not so surprised.
No, I'm not surprised. I'm just saying it's especially good, Oz. That's all I'm saying.
He did a really good Strange Academy one.
See, like that cover's not great. Like to me, I look at that and I'm like, that doesn't look like the character from Horizon Zero Dawn.
It looks exactly like that character.
Really?
all women look the same to Larry because he's so misogynistic.
That looks like the main character from Horizon to you.
Yeah.
Like he's never actually looking at females in the face, Larry. He doesn't acknowledge that.
Listen, and what I'm saying to you is this: is it doesn't look bad, and I'm not saying I wouldn't recognize it as the character from Horizon. What I'm saying is it looks weird. It looks a little different to me, and part of that is like just her style. But you know, it's like she can do features. Like there's no features on that face.
What about the dinosaur in the back?
Look,
Larry
I didn't even
does.
see the dinosaur. Right, I'm like, wait, dinosaur? There's a dinosaur back there? Who's that dinosaur in here?
So enraged by the strong female character.
It's like going into her forehead.
Right.
Oh, that's a dinosaur?
It might be too small for you to
Lawrence,
see.
Lawrence hasn't played that game. He doesn't know.
No, I
That's why he
played
doesn't
it.
recognize the character.
Oh. No, I didn't play it, but I watched the whole game. I watched literally watched a let's play from the beginning to the end of the game and the DLC. It's so good.
All right. Heck, man, we got you on the line.
One.
You actually shared a news story with us, and you wanted to talk about it. Your mouth was watering at this news story.
Hello,
Why
Heck.
don't you
as
tell us?
opposed to Batman. Yeah, so I guess the third season of Harley Quinn, they had something with Batman eating out Catwoman, and and DC was like, "Oh God, no, can't have that. We can't do it. Take it out." So, and then they asked why, and it was like, "Heroes don't do that." We have stockholders.
Our
Heroes don't
wives
do that.
would differ.
I agree. I feel like all the women think differently about that statement.
Oh, Larry trying to do damage control for his local hate.
We're on damage control. I'm just saying all heroes don't wear capes.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
You
Booster
either die a hero or
Beetle.
sex a woman long enough to become the villain.
Yeah. In our Instagram, I posted that news story, and Kadosha, one of our longtime listeners, says, "I'm a villain." Instead of
That's the best response. I'm a villain.
instead of saying, yeah, heroes do that. Yeah,
He said I'm a villain.
he said, "I'm a villain."
Yeah, I was
There it
going
is.
around
I'm with
saying, no
Kadosho.
hero.
So a little round robin here, Joe. Man, do you think heroes eat pussy or not?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
And it was funny. I heard one comment, and I can't remember who said it, but they were basically saying, "You really think you can hook up with someone that doesn't eat pussy?"
Yeah.
It was like they got a point.
Yeah, you can't. Larry. We don't care what you think, Boomer. But let's do you think heroes eat pussy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
End. The end.
How about you, Oz?
Of course. I'm pretty sure in the Batman Harley Quinn movie, when Batman walks in on Nightwing, he's doing this while she's putting her pants back on.
And heck, I think I know your answer, but why don't you humor me?
I mean, yeah. Look, Batman has a full, his whole mouth is out there. Practically every hero has their mouth out there. They can cover the whole face except the mouth. So, I mean,
Just in case they want a nice drink.
yeah, right. Shit, even Kevin Smith said he wrote a Batman story where he eats pussy. So, I don't know, man.
I this story is weird to me because one of the things they said that was the rationale for Batman not doing that, for them not letting them do that, is they need to sell toys. And it's
Right.
like, that cartoon's not for kids. So why would you make toys based on the cartoon that's not for kids?
Honestly, there was another person that made the comment like, who wouldn't want to buy a Batman action figure with going down, like with like
Look,
action?
I've already pre-ordered 2 Cunnilingus Batman.
It's just like a head banging Batman.
There's no female. It's just him going.
You got to buy the other figure separately.
Yeah, you buy it's a build a coitus set. So you can get it with Catwoman, you can get it with Batgirl, you can get the Batman, and then you can get whatever female character. Sure, you can pair them up with Barbie. But yeah, that's the rationale that they got to sell toys. Yeah, like
I mean, it's not. Batman going down and Catwoman isn't stopping anybody from selling toys. If anything, it's going to sell more toys.
I don't know if it's going to sell more or not. But
I feel like it's definitely indifferent. Like it's neutral. Like all the people, like nobody's going to be like, oh, I used to buy Batman toys, but now I stopped because I heard he goes down on women.
Like the only person I think that would stop that would be Michael Douglas. Like he's the one guy that
I mean,
Michael Douglas.
In fairness, he has reasons.
What are Michael Douglas's reasons?
He says that he got throat cancer from eating pussy.
Wait, is that what he said for real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody's looking at Catherine Zeta-Jones like,
because what was it? She had that one. What's that one thing women have that they tell them? Oh, you should get the vaccine early. I forget. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So apparently she had that, and because I guess Michael Douglas ate her out like every day or some shit, he ended up getting cancer from her.
I don't know if that's how that works or not.
I'm not a scientist. I can't say yay or nay on that.
Look, I'm willing to experiment, but I'm not a scientist. That was my science.
More research must be done.
Facebook user says, "Is the show still on?" And then that same Facebook user, "Oh shit, it just got good."
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well, if they just logged on, they missed my cunnilingus face earlier.
Nobody wants to
Give
see that, man.
Give it to him again, Oz.
It'll be the thumbnail for this episode. Don't worry.
That face is for the Patreon.
Yeah, I know exactly. It was at 17 minutes and 42 seconds. Next story, Joe, man. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Tiger Clan chat. What you guys think of that teaser trailer for the Masters of the Universe Revelation series? Did anyone watch that?
I did.
I saw some
I
of
did
it.
not.
I'll tell you this. He-Man goes down.
Yeah.
Look, you can't be named He-Man and not go down.
Right.
Like, I'm sure he has to explain with that outfit. Like, he has a safe word that he gives you. Like, he probably has it on the card, like Danny Ocean from Ocean's 11. Like, just printed just a safe word here, and then he goes down.
Why is it?
No, I thought it was pretty amazing, personally. You know what I like the most about it?
What?
I like that Prince Adam is smaller than He-Man. Like, it's good stuff. Like, that's how it probably should have been from the beginning. It wasn't, but it should have been. Like, he looks like a different person.
Yeah, like they couldn't tell.
Right.
It's like Superman with the sunglasses, but at least Superman's bumbling and but
right, 100. Like Prince Adam's disguise was worse
like
than
our quarterback.
Right, than Clark Kent, and they always made it seem like this guy couldn't handle himself, and it's like, dude, he's ripped. He's like friggin' in this little tunic, And it's like, why doesn't anybody know that guy's He-Man?
Yeah, it's like it's not even like he puts on a separate outfit. He just takes off his clothes and runs around.
Like it wasn't even transformation. He just got naked. It's
Yeah.
Right.
man.
Exactly.
It's like look at
Exactly.
look in that phone booth and see his clothes like laying there. And he walks around with Battle Cat, and Battle Cat just puts on a mask.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yo,
Exactly.
what did
So
you
it's
think
like,
of it?
but that's cool.
What did you
Good.
think of the teaser, Joe?
I thought it was really good, and I love the character designs.
Mm-hmm.
They're not updated. Well, they're updated, but they're like the same as they were. Like
Right.
Mm-hmm.
the show will do with the net, and it looks just like how I remember the toy looking.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool to me.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it's literally just a different style of animation, but all the character designs are pretty much the same.
Right.
I think that's kind of where the reboot that Cartoon Network had kind of fucked up. They did too much different to the established people.
Well, there was also that other, like the Next Generation or whatever cartoon, that other reimagining, and that was
The
totally
one-
different, but it
The
was
one
still
after
good.
the first one,
Yeah,
the New Adventures. Yeah, that I don't like.
Yeah.
Talking about that.
Because some people think this Masters of the Universe series is going to be woke.
Hell yeah, it's woke.
I'm
Didn't you
down.
see the trailer?
Like I'm down with that.
What makes it woke?
I don't
Because
know.
Kevin Smith is writing, I guess.
Doesn't look woke to me. But
Yeah, I mean,
it is.
I didn't see anything that makes it feel like it's woke.
Like woke is okay. Woke is not a bad word. Like
I agree. Also, too, like, was a OG He-Man problematic? Like, what did it do?
It taught
Uh,
everybody how to be a man.
No, there were plenty. Well, not plenty, but there were women. And then they had like a whole spin-off series that was mostly women. So I'm just saying, like, what was like? I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying there were no issues with OG He-Man.
Leave it to Larry. Larry did not see any issues with OG He-Man.
Well, no, I just like, I don't know what they are. I'm just asking what
No,
what were the issues? Like, I
I
don't
like-
remember there being issues.
I like perpetuating the falsehood that you're this bad person, the worst person on Fantastic Four. That should be
like Plus says they say the series will sideline He-Man and Tila will be in most of the series.
He-Man's
I
like the
Well,
face.
Right?
That would be a mistake. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think
if you want to feature Tila, you can do that, and she can be in it as much as He-Man. That's not a problem. But if you sideline He-Man and make Tila the focus in a He-Man, like a Masters of the Universe cartoon, like that's a bad idea.
And would that necessarily make it woke? Like it could be not woke and do that and be bad, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it could be like objectifying Tila. Like that could happen.
I don't see that as a bad thing.
All right. So what's our next story?
I want you to talk about that Uzumaki, man.
Oh my God. Okay. So I don't know if anyone has seen the Uzumaki trailer out there. I know me and Mo and Mary Young have checked it out. It's a little teaser trailer. Adult Swim's doing like 4 episodes. Uzumaki, it's been delayed because of COVID, but it's coming out next year. And they just dropped the teaser trailer, and the teaser trailer is fucking amazing. Like it's in black and white for one thing, which is like incredible. Like it just looks so good. And it's basically just the girl talking about like things happen in her town, and then she like walks off screen and it pans down and you see the plants and their fucking spirals, and it's oh my God, like man, it's like we talk about on this show, we talk a lot about how close an adaptation should be to the source material. And it's like these guys were like, no, it's going to be exact. Like We're not putting any colors. We're just gonna like literally page to screen. And man, I am just so excited. Like I've talked about Uzumaki plenty of times on the show before. Lawrence might not remember.
I don't.
Your memory is not great.
It's
But
not.
Uzumaki is a horror manga by Junji Ito about spirals. People start becoming obsessed with them and seeing them everywhere, and like all types of like terrible shit starts happening. It's like if I remember the story correctly, its story goes basically Junji Ito was eating his food and he had one of those rice noodles with rice things with the spiral in it. And he just looked at it and said, "How can I make this horrifying?" And here comes Uzumaki. And it is horrifying, and it's so good and grotesque, and it just looks so beautiful. Like this trailer, this like 10-second trailer, has got me so hyped.
Thank you for saying that it's only 10 seconds, because I'm sitting here like,
And this,
I was.
that's because you don't love Uzumaki like I do.
Well, that goes without saying.
Like if you loved it as much as me, you would be so hyped right now. It's
I
like
guess so.
it's funny because I've seen you get hyped over like the stupidest shit.
I mean, it was stupid, but at least it was 30 seconds worth of stupid.
Generic, and it's like man, like the fact that you can't appreciate this, it's sad.
Well, keeping in mind that I like, because I haven't like,
Literally weeping for you.
because I haven't like, I guess because I haven't read it, maybe that's a big, because like you were talking about the spirals, and I'm sitting here like, why does it matter if there's spirals in the flowers or not? And then you explain it, and I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Show him the image of the spiral in her face where the eyeballs hanging out like two feet.
He's seen it. Larry's seen the spirals because we showed it to him in the past.
No, I believe it. I don't remember, but I'm saying like, literally the thing is like 3.5, 4 minutes long, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna show you this thing." Like he's talking for like a minute and a half, and be like, "I'm gonna show you this thing, but I can't show you too much because spoilers." And I'm like, "Okay, I get it." So I'm sitting here thinking like, "Okay, well he talked for a minute and a half, so he doesn't want to reveal too much, even though it's like 3.5 minutes, and that's fair. So we're gonna see 2 minutes of stuff." And then it's like, this fool showed me like 10, like Jay said 10 seconds. I'm not sure it was 10 seconds. It might be 8 seconds. And then he would start talking again. And I'm like, this is some bull. Like, I'm just like, come on, man.
I mean, look, he's
It's
right.
beautiful. Like literally, it's the manga come to life. Like,
Yeah.
I was looking at the book and it started moving.
Well, even the way, no, but Larry, that's the thing. It's like the way her hair, the shading in her hair, where because she's got like the little bangs cut straight down, and the shading on the inside and the dimension on the back is like it looked like the manga, and then she just started walking. You know? And it's almost like it's like Akira. Akira is like super hyper detailed, and then you read the Akira manga, and it's like, man, that cartoon's not as detailed as the manga. And then this, it's like the detail is all there. So it's like 10 seconds took all of 2020 and pandemic to make.
I mean, that could definitely be the case, and I'm not knocking it, mind you.
That sounds like you're knocking it, man. You're treating it like
I'm not knocking it in the sense that the quality isn't there. What I am knocking is, like, obviously in our culture, we're used to the idea of the teaser trailer, but this took teaser to a whole nother level. I'm like, wait a minute now, this is not like this is not a regular teaser. This is like, wait a minute, like I don't even know what to call it. It's so little that I don't feel like I could call it a tease. I feel like no, this is not a tease. This is like I'm not. This is like when somebody brushes up against you. You're like, wait a minute, what just happened? That's what that feels like. I'm like, oh, okay.
Tell
I
you,
don't think I was teased. Maybe a tantalizer trailer.
even if the girl hadn't been in it and they just showed the plants, like I would still be like super hype about
What?
like it just looked so good. And then they give you more than that. They give you the girl. It's like
Listen.
the girl, the plants. Like
I would have been more hyped if they just showed the still images.
like the music is just perfect.
If these were stills, it would have taken the same amount of time to watch. And I'd be like, man, that looks like the manga. I'm like, this is from the anime? Wow, that's amazing. It looked just like the manga pages. That would have been better for me.
It actually was a still. It was a shaky cam though.
Look,
We'll
Makes
get to
sense.
that Red Sonja review. No, don't tease that. But yeah,
It's too funny, man.
next news story we talk about on the topic of adaptations from page to screen. This next is not gonna be any of that, I'm sure. Is they released a teaser trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home in Brazil. And
Why Brazil?
why not?
Disney Brazil decided to tease it. I guess they don't give a fuck about safety or anything, so they had theaters. So a movie came out in Brazil, and they put a Sony movie in Brazil came out, and then they put that trailer at the beginning. But it was literally just the title screen moving to the camera and saying "No Way Home" in it.
Yeah,
But
but
on the other,
it glitched like Spider-Verse.
yeah,
So they
Oh,
gave it
did
all
it really?
away. I already know it. Look, they gave away the whole movie. I'm done.
yeah, it did glitch. It did glitch like Spider-Verse. But I mean, yeah, we'll see. It glitched like our Fantastic Forum bumper that Oz made. That's what I thought when I saw
Mm.
Store Stick, but yeah, Oz stole it from Spider. And every
I hope it has
TV,
more
every
manipulated.
CRT TV from the 80s. But there's another news story because they announced the poster. The poster came out in Argentina, and they're like, "Oh, the new the Spanish title is different than the English, and it says that it has connotations towards a multiversal glitch thing, and in Spanish in Argentina it's called No Camino a Casa or some shit, and
What's Camino mean?
Road
well,
Path.
they translated it on comicbook.com
or a truck.
comicbookmovie.com. They translated it. It says no road home, so they say road like because of that. But Camino means way, road, path.
Path.
journey.
Oh, okay.
It's a catch-all for all of those. It literally means way. Like if Oz is walking in my way, and I'm trying to get across the street, and he's in front of me, I say, "Hey, apártate de mi camino." It's like separate yourself from my path. But in English, I'm not gonna separate yourself from my path. I'm gonna say, "Get the fuck out of my way."
But I love that though. I feel like I'm going to start saying that. Separate yourself from my path.
It could also translate into that thing that's half a car, half a truck.
Yeah. I mean, I know what that is, but
So,
that's obviously not Spanish.
Obviously, that means he's going to time travel to the mid to late 70s and meet Mephisto, who's going to make everybody forget who Peter Parker
Give him a brand new day.
I'm telling you, it's all connected. And then Loki's going to show up.
It's all one moment in time.
As long as Coulson's there, I'm happy.
He's Mephisto.
Look, I'll take it. If Coulson is Mephisto, I'll take it. It all makes sense.
It's like the whole show was him playing a dirty trick on me. All Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was a dirty Mephisto illusion.
It was according to Loki.
Man, I would love that.
But
I didn't see it,
yeah,
but I would love that.
like I got so mad when I read it because it's like, who the fuck? Like, they're really reaching on that that No Way Home. Like, it literally means no way home.
It's comicbook.com. Come on.
Yeah, but look, Oz, you know me long enough to know that it's not because they said that that I'm pissed.
No,
It's because of
because you're awake.
the clicks they get. You
Right.
know, people
Right.
don't want the truth. They want people to tell them, give them false hope of what
There it is.
it could be. Yeah. So all of Fantastic Forum from now on is going to be us telling you stuff that isn't real, that just could be.
That's what
No
Oz does already.
No more news, no reviews, no nothing. It's just going to be like, we're just going to make up the news and the reviews.
Right.
Not even going to read. Everything
What
gets
do we
5
want to happen today?
Everything gets 5 stars. And if we look on the subject of 5 stars, if anybody has any news stories, you can chime in now, or we can just jump in to the Sweet Tooth review.
Can I do my weekly gripe about Guardians of the Galaxy?
Sure.
Okay. Like, which, trust me, I get it, folks. Like, I'm here with you. If at this point you're like, is he going to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy and what he doesn't like about Guardians of the Galaxy?
We
like
have
MCU?
a theme song. We have a theme song about you with Guardians shit. If you allow me to play it,
Go for it. Now's the time.
Like, I don't know why I swallowed all that. I don't know why I swallowed all that.
let's hear Guardians of the Galaxy.
Why is that the Guardians? Like, what?
Because you have to put up with it and swallow it and like, take it.
Oh,
You
Wow.
should throw the mouse laugh in there.
that's a good idea. Next time.
I mean, I could do it.
Here.
Oh, go for it. Real time, Bo.
Hit that
Make it
button.
happen.
I don't know why I swallowed all that.
That's it. That's the
That's
theme.
hilarious. That's hilarious. Okay. So, for those that may not know, this past week or past weekend was E3, and the Square Enix announced a Guardians of the Galaxy video game. I don't know if any of you all saw this, but
I did.
it's literally a third-person, like video game where you play as Star-Lord, and it kind of does a little bit of the, like, I guess for lack of a better like comparison, it kind of does a little bit of the Mass Effect thing, where you, like, the rest of the Guardians are like your squad mates, so they're with you and you basically like give them commands to do certain things at certain points. And I'll tell you, man, I was watching the reveal for this joint and I was so disappointed.
You see why?
because-
You see why that's your theme song for Guardian shit? Because, like, you're gonna hate it. You know you're gonna hate it, and you still swallow it. Oh boy!
I didn't know it was coming. I
Pre-order
was just watching.
collector's edition.
Huh?
You already pre-ordered the collector's edition.
No. Listen. If I didn't buy the Avengers game, I'm definitely not buying the Guardians game just because it's that's
In-
like
in
it's so. Huh?
In
Okay.
fairness, the Guardians game looked a lot better than Avengers did when they announced it.
Hold on.
I agree with you.
I got a question
Yeah.
because I'm not a big Guardians of the Galaxy fan. I haven't read all their books.
Mm.
What's with the redheaded purple llama? Is that a thing?
I've read all the books. I can't tell you. I have no
That's a
idea.
thing, son.
And this is the issue. Like, the reality of the situation
None
is
of these characters look anything like the movie except for maybe Groot and Rocket. But Rocket looks like 20 years older.
I
which
don't
means he should be
see.
dead.
Here's the thing. I would give you Groot, and that's it. But here's the thing. Like, I don't need them to look like the movie. I just need them to look like the Guardians, and that's the thing where, again, like
So
the
you can get
issue
him
I'm
to look like
having.
the movie, or you can get him to look like the Guardians, but you can't get both.
Well, I want them to look like the Guardians of the Galaxy, like the comic book version. Even the new comic book version, I would take. Which, and in fairness, I'll give them like I did notice in the pre-orders, like one of the newer costumes from the comic is like one of the pre-order like costumes or whatever. So I'm like, okay. I mean, I guess they're trying, but at the same time, they're not trying that hard because they'll make it look like the comic, but they're not gonna make it act like the comic. Especially like, and this is my issue with this reveal because I'm watching this joint and I'm like, man, like, remember how I was talking about how like, you know, the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie is my least favorite MCU film because it didn't feel like the Guardians. Like I was used to Marvel basically taking the comics and bringing that to the screen. And I felt like Guardians was like the first MCU film where it's like it didn't feel like they tried to do that. They were like, you know, it's the Guardians. We can do whatever we want because nobody read these books anyway. And I was like, okay. And they took liberties in the first movie. Then when you get to the second movie, the stuff that wasn't the comic, they ratcheted all that stuff up to like 8 or like 10. And I'm just like, oh, like Guardians 2 is easily my least favorite MCU film because it's like all the parts of it, all the parts of the first movie I didn't like are dialed up. This game, it's like, okay, all the parts about the Guardians that you don't like or that I don't like got pushed to like 13. I'm like, oh. So it's like the worst version of a Guardians movie put into an interactive space, and that's gonna last for probably like 30 hours. I don't know. Maybe it's only gonna be like 20. I don't know. But either way, I'm just like,
But the
it
best
feels
part
so bad. Like it's literally like the Guardians have this banter, and they just like talk to each other as they fight. Which in a comic book, we all know like heroes sometimes talk during fights. I mean, Spider-Man is famous for that, and the people that write Spider-Man well, it's like that like those jokes and that like conversation he's having is entertaining. And other comic books try to emulate that specifically, and some do it better than others, right? But man, when I tell you that in this game, I was like, oh my God. Like, I'm just like, is there like a mute? Like, is there a toggle where I could be like, don't have them talk? Because if there's not, there's no way I'm going to play this game. Because they are talking to each other and just like, it's nonsense. It's like, what are they saying? Why are they talking like this? Like, every member of the Guardians of the Galaxy is talking to every other member as they fight things, and it's just like, oh my God, please have them shut up. It's like it was killing me to watch it, and I'm just like, I can't believe like Square Enix found a way to mess up another Marvel game, like to the point where I'm just like, I'm not gonna play that. Like, no, thanks. Like, I don't even want to. Yeah, so I'm just like, if they're making a third person like action Guardians game where you play Star-Lord, and I want no parts of it. It has like light RPG elements. I'm good. I'm good. So whoever is in charge of licensing for friggin' Marvel needs to make sure Square Enix makes no more Marvel games, because this is a second whiff. I'm like, wow, I can't believe it. Like, I'm just saying, like, in my mind, I love comics, I love games. I want those things to intersect. And this is the second Marvel game where I'm just like, no thanks. And I'm like, that feels like a problem to me. But who knows? Maybe the demographic likes it. Like, maybe if you're like 22 and you play video games, maybe that's your chance. I don't know. But I'm
Look,
just like, not me.
I just pre-ordered the Cosmic Deluxe Edition.
it's like $350.
Actually, I'm watching the trailer's playing in front of me, and this is Square Enix. It kind of looks like a step backwards.
It kind of looks like a Telltale game almost.
It does have like that kind of feel to it as far as like the graphics and such. But when you look at the gameplay, you can tell it's not a Telltale game because
Yeah, definitely.
it's a legit like action, a third person like action game with some light RPG elements. So I mean, honestly, the gameplay isn't the problem. It's everything else. It's like the game design and the aesthetic is my issue.
Did you see when the devs were talking about making the game?
Mm-mm.
The guy was talking about how he was a big Guardians of the Galaxy fan from way back. He was bringing up comics like, "Oh, I've been reading since the '70s and all this shit." And
Nah.
we're trying to
Lies.
combine the comics
Lies.
with the movie and all this.
Nope. Lies. Like, first of all, you can't be like, "Oh, I've been reading Guardians since the '70s," and talk like this team that is in this book. It's like they weren't around in the '70s, so it's like those comics you're reading aren't even relevant unless there's some Easter eggs in the game that I don't know about, which is possible. But somebody who like, oh man, I've been a Guardians fan since the '70s. I don't feel like he would make this game, or he or she would not make this game.
I was paraphrasing, but I don't remember exactly what he said. But he was basically saying, "Oh, I've been a fan since way back."
I mean, this team has been around since what? The early 2000s, I think, right? When was Annihilation? I don't even know.
Like 2008, 2005.
Oh, dang!
No,
So it's like mid to late 2000s.
Yeah.
This dude talked like he was in it since like the '90s at the least.
I mean, you can like, and that's the thing where it's like, don't get me wrong, like, understand, like, I'm not trying to gatekeep. What I'm saying is, like, if you were a Guardians of the Galaxy fan before 2000, this team doesn't share any DNA with anything previous to that. So it's like, and I remember like the reason why I picked up the new Guardians, or what, in my mind, what I think of as the new Guardians of the Galaxy, was because I was a fan of the old ones, and I was just like, oh, they're making like a modern day version of the team, because Guardians of the Galaxy is like basically like, if you're like a DC fan, it's like equivalent to friggin' Oz, help me.
What?
With all the crazy names with the guy and gal.
Legion of Superheroes.
Thank you.
Arms Fall Off boy who's gonna show up in Suicide Squad.
Right. So it's like equivalent to Legion of Superheroes, where Guardians of the Galaxy only existed in the future of the Marvel Universe. And then they made a team that was like in the modern day version of Marvel, the Marvel Universe. And I'm like, oh, that's different. Like, how's that going to work? Because like as far as like the history of Guardians of the Galaxy is all about being in the future. And that was like a big plot point in the first like story arc, because it was kind of like literally one of the future Guardians of the Galaxy kind of shows up and is like, wait, what? Like, no, we're the Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, like there's like a whole time like plot point. And so like it's like the people that were in the future that were called the Guardians of the Galaxy didn't know that there was a Guardians of the Galaxy that existed in what was considered the present day, you know, Marvel comic book era. And that was kind of part of the whole thing, where it's like, oh, they're so like this is where you get the whole underdog, like, you know, like heroes that nobody recognizes as heroes kind of thing from. Like that was the whole thing, where it's like man, the guys that call themselves the Guardians of the Galaxy in the future don't even know that these guys ever existed. You know? So
They're on a whole.
yeah,
I'm looking it up right now. They're on a whole different. They're even on 616.
right,
They're
right,
69. One.
right.
Tiger Claw in chat says the game looks cool though. The only issue is you only play as Star Lord. If only they let you play as the other Guardians. Is that a factor for your distaste?
No. No, I mean, I totally respect the design decision in saying you're gonna play as one character and you can like have the other characters as like as your crewmates. Like that makes a lot of sense to me in a lot of ways, honestly. So it's not that. My issue is that the characters not only do they not act like the characters that I like from the comics, they act like the characters from the movies, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I could, like I said, I can stand like if it was like for instance, the Telltale game has them act like the characters from the movies to a degree. And there's a certain amount of like comic book DNA that they put into those characters, and like it's a good mix, or at least what I'll say is it's an acceptable mix. It's like you can tell that in the Telltale game, they're like, well, we have to acknowledge the the version of the characters that most people know, but there's someone at Telltale that's like, but we know that that's not like the source, like the source material. The characters don't act like that, so let's try to put in as much of that as we can without alienating the version that or the version of these characters that most people know. And I appreciate that as a fan, where I'm just like, oh, okay, like they're trying to put a little bit in there for people like myself, who's like, okay, you're a fan that has been reading, and we get that this version of these characters aren't the ones that maybe you want, but here's a nod, and I'll take that. That's all I'm asking for is a nod. What I'm saying is Square Enix isn't doing that at all. Like they're like, oh, you like Guardians of the Galaxy? Well, obviously you love these movies, and if you love these movies, well, we're gonna ratchet up these movie characters up another notch. Like even like I know that like they mentioned like Oz, you mentioned Rocket, and I'm like, dude, this little beard thing they gave Rocket, like they gave him like I don't even know what that's called. What's the little?
The
It's
goatee.
not a. I mean,
The Van Dyke.
huh?
Is it a goatee?
He looks like
I
Captain
mean, I
Marvel
guess
now.
it's technically a goatee, but it's like
I call it
it-
Jack
it-
Sparrow because he's got like some dice and
Yeah.
right.
on it and all that.
Like it's longer on the bottom, and he has rubber bands like hold it together, and it's like, why is that happening? I'm sorry, I had to mess around, talking animated, and hit my camera. But I'm just like, why is that happening?
Because it's edgy.
Is it though? Is that what edge is? I don't think so. Not anymore. Maybe it used to be edgy, but once Jack Sparrow did it, then it became less edgy, right?
Well,
No,
Square
part of it-
Enix isn't an American company either at this point. So
Part of it too is that some of the problem that the Activision, or I'm sorry, the Avengers game had was that they can't make it look like the movies. They got to distinguish it because rights issues. If all of a sudden, what's his name, the dude that does the voice of Rocket is like, oh, they making money on what I did on screen,
Right.
so they got to make it look distinguishable and different
No,
for that
I
reason.
agree with you 100%.
And even like personality shit too, like that's part of it that goes into that.
I
And-
think
Well, but
that's what Lawrence is saying. If you want to differentiate from the movies, you make it more like the comics.
right, and which you have the license to,
Yeah.
and so you
But
could,
nobody
you could
like that.
technically make like
nobody
a
wants
comic
stuff,
book.
nobody wants stuff like the comics.
Well,
Look,
I do.
most of the people that love Guardians of the Galaxy don't know there's a comic or think it
Yeah,
came out after the movie.
Yeah.
Based on the movie Guardians of the Galaxy 2009.
And that's the whole thing is like I'm not saying don't make it like I get you have to make it distinct from the movie, but you have a choice on which direction you want to go. You can make it more like the movie and like ratchet it up, or you can make it less like the movie and like take it down some notches. And I'm just like, dude, like this is no good. Like for me, it's no good because I'm just like I don't like Rocket. I don't like Gamora. I don't like Star-Lord. I don't like Drax. Like what did they do to Drax? Like they made his tattoos look like like digital like camouflage or something. Like it's so weird. It's so weird. I can't do it. And it's like they would have to like show me something really really I can't even think of what they would have to show me honestly
Drax
for
looks
me
like
to be like
Buff Uncle Fester.
it's so weird. It's like the whole thing is like completely like I'm just like it's all the things I hate about modern Guardians like turned up a notch.
But
So I'm
what
just
is
like
that
okay,
llama? That llama's bugging me. What is it? Is
I
it
don't know.
That's
It's
what
got
it
red
looks like.
hair.
It looks
It's
like a piñata.
Is it Mephisto? Is it
It's definitely Mephisto.
Black Widow?
It's Mystique.
It's Mystique all along.
Yeah.
Mystique all along.
Look, and
It's a
that was Larry's Guardians gripe.
Like I don't know why I swallowed that.
I'll take it.
Yeah. And no more news. We're going into reviews. Everybody
Let's
good
do
with
it. Yeah.
I got one news thing, but it ain't worth nothing.
Yeah. And turn off your TV, heck.
I don't have my TV on.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that might be me. I'm sorry.
Mayor's the heck today.
Comic book theater. Comic book theater.
So Sweet Tooth premiered on Netflix last week. It feels like it's been forever. I finished it too fast. And if you subscribe to our channel here, there's a review of the trailer and all that. And in it, I talked about how it didn't look like the comic, but they could do things. So we're here to review that, and we're here to get the impressions of the rest of the guys. You guys watch it all at all? Like who did like? So I know where to get this conversation. Okay,
I haven't seen it all. I only got halfway through.
Okay, Larry. I mean Joe, you didn't watch any of it, right?
No, I don't have Netflix.
Didn't Larry give you his password? Like, wasn't that something we agreed on like 6 months ago?
No, he doesn't have a Netflix. Like he gets from someone else.
Right.
All right. It's 5 out of 5. It's not like the comic. All right. Let's do because I know Oz didn't watch it.
I watched the whole thing. What are you talking about?
Okay. Well, I don't care what you think. So 5 out of 5.
Dang. Can Oz give an opinion?
All right. Look. All right. Well, let's start with impressions. Like, what? How did you guys feel watching the first episode? Let's start with that. Larry.
I felt good about the first episode. Generally speaking, I like the narrator. Like that feels like comic booky to me, even though I'm not sure. I don't remember if that's like actually what happens in Sweet Tooth, like if there is a narrator or not. But it does feel comic bookish, and I like that aspect of it. And all in all, like I appreciated the first episode, by no means do I feel like, it's like, sometimes a show needs like an episode or two or three to like kind of like get its stride. And I don't know that I would say that Sweet Tooth is that kind of show, because it's like by no means, like, for instance, just in comparison, it's not Agents of Shield where like the first episode was like kind of garbage. However, it like, I watched the first episode and I enjoyed it, but I watched like episode 2 and episode 3 and like those a lot more. Um, but yeah, like episode 1 was definitely good enough for me to be like, let me keep watching and see what's going to happen next. Like it compelled me to want to watch the next episode. And because I had actually, like, I know the comic a little bit, there were some aspects of it that I was like, oh yeah, that's like, it feels not like the comic in some ways, but at the same time, it felt like it hit enough of the touch points that I was like, okay, this is like, it's legit. And then on top of that, it's like, there's some things that I'll ignore despite not being like the comic book.
Okay. Well, look, but did you read the comic at all?
I mean, I've read like the first, what, I want to say like maybe 2.
But not in preparation for the show, right?
No, from
Okay.
before.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Oz, man, give me your impression of it. I mean, you say you watched the whole thing, so you can just give me an impression of the whole thing.
Similar to what Lauren said, it might have been the first or the second episode, but when Big Man shows up is when it really starts to ramp up. I have trouble. They say the kid was there before Big Man for a year. I don't believe that kid would survive that long. So there's a lot of times that the show kind of like threw off my suspension of disbelief or whatever for a little bit. But
aside from the antler,
well, I mean, I've already accepted that this kid has antlers. Now you telling me this kid survived for a year? I'm going to need a little bit more info on what the hell he did, because what they showed me that he did for that whole year felt like, okay, maybe that was a month before Big Man came in and saved his ass. But whatever. Overall, it's a good show. I mean, I wouldn't say it was amazing. I'm glad I watched it. I recommend anybody that has Netflix go check it out. It's only 9 episodes, so it goes by quick, and it made me want season 2.
all right. Now, I've read the comic. I've reviewed the comic here. I watched this. I really enjoyed this this series. Like it was good. It wasn't like the comic. There's a lot in it, and I wish Joe would have seen it, because I would have loved to like explain to Joe some things that they do here and give him the separation or the difference that they do in the comic. And one of the big things is really like the dad. The dad here is a good, loving father. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he dies. And in the comic, he's a religious nut that says, like, you are God's wrath. You are God's punishment to these sinners. You know, the show does something where he uses the apple with the ants as like kind of a metaphor. And that's kind of what he does in the comic, only it's sin. And, there's they made a lot of decisions here creatively to differentiate from the comic, to make it more palatable for some people.
Yeah.
Maybe feel less political, maybe feel less,
like soften it some, huh?
They softened it a lot. Like the Dr. Singh, they tried to make him likable. They got a likable actor that's look, this guy's a beauty queen compared to how he looks like in the comic. And I wish I would have. I actually do have, like, I'll put in some pictures. I took some pictures. Oh,
in the comic. Now I know the dad was a religious nut. So did the dad ever know Sweet Tooth origins like he did in this?
No,
because I was surprised actually. As far as I remember, there wasn't a full explanation on what happened.
Yeah.
But in the show, they tell you exactly what. Like they gave me so much origins. I love the last couple of episodes.
You know, Oz loves the origins of things.
But it explains why he wouldn't see Sweet Tooth as a savior figure or something like that.
Right. Yeah. It's the in the comics he didn't know what he was, but he knew that he was like an omen. Yeah, like he's a sign. Like he knew Sweet Tooth caused this fucking virus to kill humanity. And but he didn't know why, or that he was like the reincarnation of the Inuit god.
Like did his name mean what it meant in the show? His actual name, that Sweet Tooth?
Look, I don't even remember that in the show. What was the name?
It was an acronym for genetic unit something.
Oh yeah, no, that wasn't in the comic.
Okay, so yeah, so they do explain a whole lot about.
Yeah. They create a new origin for pretty much everybody. They for Jeopard, it's a different origin. It feels like it could be like what it was in the comic, but his motivations aren't in line with that original origin. Like his motivations and actions here aren't in that. And one of the prime examples is just like him taking to see his mom. Like he wants to see his mom, and he's just taking him. And the worst thing about that is that he's like, his mom is probably dead. But let's not tell him. He needs hope. Whereas in the comic, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna take you to a place where they're gonna take care of you, a reserve, a preserve, where they take care of people that. And in the comic, he's just trying to barter him to get his wife's remains back. And so he's leading him on, but he's literally giving them to the villain of the story so that they can experiment on them and chop them up. And hey, you don't think about it, you know. One of the things they did in the comic, which I think, let me see if I can share this picture. I believe I did enable it here. But one of the things is they show Sweet Tooth in the second episode going to a whatchamacallit, a city. I'm sorry, a house, because he smells food. And then in it, he meets a little kid, and he hears music for the first time, and he's dancing little happy feet, Sweet Tooth. And he sees to see another boy, and you get to see him like, oh, he gets to be a little boy freely. Finally, it'd be good for him to stay here. In the comic, he smells the food and he goes to get it in the house, and he meets a little boy, but the little boy's been decomposing for 2 years.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
So they created
That's definitely different.
It's definitely different. And even the city, the little community where the people live with Dr. Singh and that backstory there, that city's in the comics, but all it is child trafficking for sexual pleasures, where they make kids into furries for people who have fetishes about fucking the hybrids.
Wow.
Yeah, and
What?
they try to kidnap Sweet Tooth to it's like, you know, this in this new world people have varying tastes. Yeah, so they try to buy them off, and then you know, there's a whole thing with Sweet Tooth. He doesn't like that Jeopard does bad things, but then he's like, they just left this bunny suited 15-year-old girl on the hands of these bad people, and Sweet Tooth's like, you know, I don't like it when you do bad things, but I think now we kind of need to. And Jeopard's like, can we just get the fuck out of here? And he's like, no, we can't just leave her like that. And then Jeopard goes and just fucking murders the fuck out of the husband and wife that are trafficking these kids. And
wow,
you don't get that in the TV show. That Rockford community is literally just a bunch of people trying to live at home. I have a picture here, and hopefully I can share it. Let's see. Share screen.
While you pull that up real quick, subculture girl in chat says, in the show, the acronym was GUTS.
Right. Yeah. In the comic, I don't think that was it, but yeah, it's. I didn't even look at that. But yeah, that's the cover. Those are the teenage prostitutes and the bunny dress girl. That's when they see. Yeah. Look, I thought part of it was everything was being polished for Netflix. Yeah. Even the gore, like there's a scene. This is him murdering the dudes that the young girls here. Let me see if I can share that real quick. And there's that right there. A lot of the gore, a lot of the violence here is very, Jeopard looks like a weathered man. They made him a football player in the show, but he's actually a hockey player, a washed up hockey player.
No.
It's not too different, but part of his problem in hockey was that he fought so much. He would like leave dudes, like he would force them into retirement. So it kind of, he had his issues that they had to work with. But yeah,
it's interesting because like the character or the actor they ended up picking, like it doesn't make sense for him to be a hockey player because he doesn't have
Right.
the right kind of frame for it.
right.
But if you wanted a black dude to be a hockey player, like you could have done that.
Wait, hold. In the show,
Yeah, in the show.
he's a football player.
Right.
That's the whole point I'm making. It
Oh.
doesn't make sense for the person they pick.
Oh, in the comic is my bad. All right, sorry.
Right.
Mhm.
To be like, it makes more sense if you pick him. Yeah, it makes more sense for him to be a football player than a hockey player.
Sorry, I was
But-
confirming my Guardians of the Galaxy pre-order while you were talking.
But if you want a black person in that role, which again, it's like, I mean, I get it. Like, you want more diversity and to a degree that makes sense. However, it's like if you want a black person in that role, you could have picked a black person that has the frame of a hockey player that happened to be good as well. And that would have been maybe a fit that would have like both given you what you wanted in regards to diversity as well as like
But that's you and your Guardians bullshit. Like really, like
what do you mean?
because like you're trying to make sense of this, but it's like they just changed the character and they changed them, and they like if they're not gonna get the dead kid where they find the food right in the show, why are they gonna try to get that right?
Yeah,
They're trying to
why
get
why you gotta be a black football player? Why couldn't it be a luchador?
it doesn't look. I'm more mad that why isn't he trying to deliver Gus to the villain to get his wife's remains? He could be a green fucking alien as long as that's what he's trying to do. I don't give a fuck.
And I guess that's fair. If you're a fan of the comic, you're like, if it follows the same plot points but happens to be an alien, I get why you might be like, I'm happier with that versus anything else. But I guess more so that, I mean, I'm assuming the reason why they made or why they casted somebody African American in that role was just more like, well, we don't want everyone to be white. And that makes sense to me, where it's like, I get it. Like, diversity it's been proven diversity helps like the appeal of shows, because if you have like basically if you have people that aren't white in shows as well along with white people, like there's a greater draw to the shows. So it's like that makes sense to me. I'm not from a strictly marketing perspective. But I'm saying, like, if you want to have a hockey player that happens to be black, you can do that. Like, it's not like they're not black hockey players. Like,
as most of the shows
they exist.
Leave that. Look, we're not stuck on hockey, man. We're stuck on plot on differences from the comic. Like, that's not the difference.
No, but that's the difference from the comic.
Yeah, but that's irrelevant.
Is
Or
it? Why is that difference irrelevant?
because that's just some minute detail. Like it's not a story character.
Mm.
You know, if he's a washed up athlete, he could be a washed up athlete on anything, as long as that is what drives him to do what he's gonna do. You know, he could have
Okay,
been. You know,
that's fair.
he could have done what you know. Right now in Pride Month, we saw a big UFC fight. He could have been a UFC guy. Whatever, he could have been whatever. Like he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing from that point on. You know.
I hear you. The bigger point is follow the story points or the
Right.
plot points from the
Right.
comic. Okay, that's fair.
I was
Give me
happy.
my furry hookers. Damn it.
Yeah.
That's what Mo wants to see.
It was just a good moment. Like they point a gun at Jeopard's face because he's like, "What the fuck?" And then the guy's like, "You just got to keep walking." And then they see Gus, and they're like, and then the wife gets Gus and puts a gun in his head, and she's like, and he goes, Jeopard just looks at the guy pointing a gun at him. It's like, we're gonna shoot him if you don't, give him to us or whatever, and or leave. And he's like, I'm not leaving without him, but. He goes, either way, you're all fucking dead. You shoot me, I'll get you. I'll still fuck you up. Like, he just stares him down, and then the guy's like doesn't shoot him. And then he just fucks him up. Like he just breaks his fucking. That's the picture I posted where he hits him with the butt of the shotgun and just breaks his fucking face. And then he goes back and finishes the job after Gus tells him. It was amazing, and that's issue 4, I think, from the first trade paperback. And
Nice.
yeah, so I don't know. We'll see where the seasons goes. Netflix shit has been only lasting about 2-3 seasons now, so we might not. I don't think we're gonna get a comics accurate version of it. And
Did the comic version? Because recently we did The Return. Right? Or is that what it's called? Something like that. Sweet Tooth The Return or something like that.
Oh yeah.
The comic up before that, was that like a full story? Did it feel like it was ending and then The Return was a sequel? Or was it the same? Okay. So that whole first arc before The Return, how far into that arc is this Netflix show at the end? If at all, because I mean it could diverge so far that we hit that red line and we're in a multiverse.
That's funny. That's the funny thing about this. The stuff they chose to keep it like the comic, and this is kind of how I staged my review or pre-produced my reviews. Like there's a lot of differences, but there's a lot of things they try to keep the same. And aside from the ancillary stories, your Dr. Singh, your Amy, but the path that they take, more or less, Jeopard and Gus, that is. It's kind of the first 5 issues, with the exception of him delivering them to the villain. But what we see of the villain, what we know Dr. Strange's going to be doing, all that you start seeing in the first 5 issues. So that first season is like the first 5 issues, more or less. One of the things they do really well is the casting. Like the guy that they made. That Admiral, General, whatever, Abbott, they made him look more menacing than he does in the comic. He looks really good, but he looks more or less like the comic, His brother, they didn't show him a lot, but when they did show him, look like the comic, and he seems like he's going to have a similar character type. Amy doesn't exist in the comics, but, we're seeing where that story where all those kids that she had in that zoo, you meet in the comics, and they're just already imprisoned when you get to them. So they're kind of giving you a little bit of a prequel of her, Wendy, the pig girl, and Dr. Singh in it as well, which I can see them adding that, but I don't see why they need to make Dr. Singh likable at all. Like he works for a bad guy and he's subservient to him. Like fucking kill him too. But they're trying to make him likable for whatever reason. And I mean, read the comics. I always say read fucking comics. Yeah. But yeah, and the one thing they really did is that kid, even though his face isn't as jaunt or angular as Sweet Tooth, like this kid does some good shit. Like when he
Yeah.
sees Jeopard kill, you see that look in his face where he's like, I know he's not supposed to kill, but he helped me. You know, like there's a little bit, I want to say something like 12 frames of a scene where he's like, you're seeing his mind process where like he just did some bad shit,
Right.
but like
The conflict.
because he has a little bit of a morality thing with his dad and all this shit,
Yeah.
and he doesn't want to eat live things. I don't know. I don't remember if the show actually did that. In the comic, he actually makes a point to not eat, doesn't want to eat live things,
Right.
and so that kid does a good job. Like I love that kid as Gus.
I agree.
And the effect with the ears is
Yeah.
great.
It's really good.
One of the things they did differently was that deer that came to like give him backup, but didn't give him backup. Like it was just like showing his face so the guys could get scared. In the comic, that's expressed a little differently. Yeah, but it is similar. Yeah. But yeah, they do. And then Bobby is a big change. Like Bobby looks different. He looks cute as fuck. I think part of it is the art that Def Lemire has.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't lend itself to making this like it's ugly looking. Like these hybrids, like you would see half of these hybrids you see in the show, you don't understand why people would hate them. Like they'd want to keep them around so they could look. If I had a friend like Bobby that I could just pet, I'd be happy. But Bobby don't look like that in the comic. And then yeah, I actually did fan art of Bobby. Let's see if I can bring that up here.
Wait, you personally did fan art?
Back when I was reading Sweet Tooth back like 10 years ago or something.
Nice.
They put it on my Instagram, but I'll show it here. But yeah, that's Bob. Yeah, that's Bob.
What? That's what Bobby looks like in the comic?
Yeah, I mean you could bring it up. It's not. Look, I'm no great artist, so I
like the picture.
I really like the character, and I'm like, you know what? I think that might be one I can kind of draw. So I just sat down and did it, and then
right.
in the show he looks different. So yeah, there's Bobby right there, and then I don't know if Joe, if you have Bobby from the show. Let me see if I can.
Let me get him real quick.
Okay. Bobby looks cute as fuck
in the show.
In the show, yeah, and he's a great character. Like I don't want to spoil the comic, but there's an analog to the opening scene where, like that scene where Jeopard comes to save him. It's almost shot for shot like the comic, and at the very end of the comic, there's a scene where you see a little Gus about to get killed, and then he gets shot with an arrow instead of a shotgun. Hey, look, there's Bobby.
And he looks all Disney-ish.
Yeah, but he talks the same. That's good. But
yeah.
But in the comic, when you see that, and it's like the big man comes and saves little Gus, and then you realize that's not little. That's little Richard. That's Sweet Tooth's son, and Sweet Tooth is the one that saves him. And when Sweet Tooth comes out, actually no, it's not Sweet Tooth. It's actually Bobby that saves him. So Bobby comes out all grown up, all buff, and shit. Like because they're still fighting the war against humans at the end. And yeah, spoilers. But it's like I want to see that, like those scenes, the ending scenes on the show. So I wanted to be for people to watch it. It was trending at like number 2 for a long time.
Right.
Yeah. So hopefully it gets renewed. I know Robert Downey Jr.'s company hasn't been having good luck with the stuff they make, so hopefully they will remove some of that stink.
If Netflix is gonna keep on with Lucifer, I think Sweet Tooth has a shot.
Look.
Here's hoping.
I don't know.
I guess you like Sweet Tooth, so
yeah,
to strike against it.
Yeah, and I try to be, part of me is like, now that we're on YouTube, like the rage thing doesn't really work Like people like happy YouTubers that like everything, and I tried to for Sweet Tooth, but people like positivity. Yeah, and
Like,
that's part of what Sweet Tooth is. It's like Sweet Tooth the show is about hope, you know, and getting living in this post apocalypse, finding a cure in this. Whereas Sweet Tooth the comic is like, no, you're all dead, and there's no anything that going back to normal means leading up to everything that led us to this. So you humans have to die. Yeah. And so the show is very, like, in that respect, is very less nihilistic and fatalistic. And I mean, once you hear the words nihilistic and fatalistic, you're like, oh, no wonder Mo loved that shit. Yeah, and that's what I don't like
True.
about the show. But I know people want hope. People want false hope. They love that. They love the things that are going to tell them it's okay, so they can sleep at night. But no, it's not going to be okay. There's no okay. And there's no bad either. There just is, and there's just life and death, and we're all racing towards it. Like, so in that respect, I don't like that the show did that, but people need it if you want to make a hit.
definitely, yeah, and I can't say enough. People should go watch it. It's a great documentary on 2020, and where we could have gone.
Look, COVID 2021.
I sneezed one time and thought I was gonna be wrapped in cellophane.
Yeah, look, no, like we're still waiting on COVID 21, man. It's coming. It's gonna come harder than Catwoman with Batman going down on her.
But yeah, I think
sheesh.
I think it has a good shot at getting to season 2. Although, yeah, it is a knock that you like it, Mo.
Yeah.
I've always said that. Netflix picked up Lucifer for season. They're like, okay, one season and it's done. Final season, season 4. Mo said he hates it. All right, we're doing 5 and 6 now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I mean, what can I do? Like, like
you gotta hate it, bro.
I feel like you're kind of neutral because although you like the show, you hate that it's not like the comic, and that might be enough to get it going for at least another season and a half.
Well, here's the thing. I enjoy the show. It's still a good show. It's just not like the comic. And I do like pointing out now that I'm trying not to do it in an angry way. And Larry, you heard me talk about it to you last week about your haircut, and I was like, I'm trying to subdue myself, and I talked about it today with a client, but people are responding to it and they're enjoying it, but again, that's what people like. People like messages of hope. They like things that mirror what they are and see them succeed. Where it's like, not everybody succeeds.
So
everybody gets whatever dreams.
Yeah. For Netflix executive watching this, you heard it here. I mean, Mo will pay you the money to watch it and be angry the whole time. Best of both worlds.
Yeah. I do like the responses getting from people that haven't read the comics, like them, like resonating with them. I like seeing them enjoy something, and I wish they would read the comic. Luckily, on June 8th, last Wednesday, I think, or Tuesday or Thursday, the compendium came out. And Joe, if you can cue up that Mo Deal music, because I'm about to do a Mo Deal before we do into these ratings.
All right.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
More money, more money, more money, more money.
So the compendium came out. Look how thick this is. It's fuck, I don't even know how many pages. I don't think they're numbered, but it's $60 for the whole series. And with your Mo Deal, and it's a flawed Mo Deal because now you can get it today. If you click the link, Joe, I put the link in our private chat. If you could put it in the comments, if you want to buy it today, it's only $53.99. But when I actually bought it, it was $35.99. So I should have filmed. I filmed that Mo Deal to play here, but that price is no longer it, and our affiliate link doesn't work. So I'm just giving you the regular ass link. But yeah, it's worth it at $60. If you want the hardcover for your coffee table book version of it, it's like 100. And the hardcover is worth it. But my hope is to have this at the barbershop, and anybody that talks to us can read it while they're waiting for a haircut. Now that restrictions are a little bit lifted, so I got the paperback for that reason. But yeah, $35 for me, 53 for you. That's your Mo deal. But yeah, I couldn't recommend the comic more. It's even all the stuff that the show does in kind of mirroring the world we're living in, from the prejudice and all that shit, and trying to cling to some normalcy like the comic does, almost prophetically. So it's just not going to give you the hope because you're a human and not a hybrid. So but yeah, we're going to jump into these ratings. Joe, I know you didn't watch it, but how would you rate our review of Sweet Tooth?
Real quick, before my rating, that page count is 920.
Oh, okay.
And this review, I want to give it a 5. Like, I thought it was pretty interesting, like watching or listening to you guys. I definitely know more about the show now than I did.
Mm-hmm.
I do kind of wish it were a little more nihilistic, but I'm kind of interested in watching it. Like, keeping in mind that it's happier than I would like.
Yeah.
Yeah, this review is great. Like, I love this review.
Oh, thank you. That's what we do. You make it worth it. I know one of the comments on one of our past episodes was a listener told me, one of the funniest things you guys said was asking Joe to review your review of it. So I figured I'd do it again. I'll play that. I'll play the hits.
Really quick, that compendium, $47.99 at Atomic Empire.
Okay, that's still pretty good. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's a little bit less than Amazon.
Yeah. Oz deal.
Oz deal.
Trying to take my shit, man.
Oh, they probably bought
I see him.
They probably bought it at the price you got it at 35.
Yeah,
stuck 47 on it.
I should have bought more because I think I could have gotten the hardcover for like 65, and I chose to go with the paper. So, but we'll see. I know they're already selling it used for 39, but this book will make you cream your pants, so you don't want to get a used one. You can catch something.
Right.
Larry, man, your review of the first 2 episodes?
No, I watched the first 4.
Oh, 4, okay.
Yeah, and no, I liked it a lot. Like, I would give it probably 4.75 out of 5. It's like, and honestly, I feel like the only parts of it the only thing that keeps me from making it 5 out of 5 is just because I've read some of the comic and I'm like, oh, like, I don't understand why we made these changes in this way. It's like, it's not saying that it's bad. It's just saying like it's different, and in a way, in my mind, that feels like a little needlessly. Like it could have been like the comic in some, at least at the very least, in small ways that would have made it like made fans of the book feel more at home, and wouldn't take anything away from the audience that isn't reading the comic anyway. But because of that, I'll give it I'll take the 0.25 deduction. But otherwise, it's a great show. So yeah, 4.75 out of 5.
Nice. Heck, man, you didn't get to watch it at all, right? Sorry, I just breezed past you.
Nah, it's fine, man. I don't have Netflix right now. Listening to you guys talk about it, I might re-up my Netflix just to check it out, see what's going on with the show.
Yeah, you could probably get a 7-day trial.
When
cost of an email address.
Nah, too much work. When's He-Man supposed to come out?
I think later this year, right?
This year or this month?
Oh, maybe this month.
I don't
Something
remember
else
off the
that was
top of my
supposed to
head.
come out.
I feel like it is sooner. Like I feel like it's like July, but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
It's not on
yeah,
Netflix
July.
though, right?
No, it's He-Man's exclusive to Netflix.
Oh, well, there you go. Wow.
Shit. So
July 23. So
Yeah.
month and a week from now.
All right.
So look, I would definitely say between He-Man and Sweet Tooth, it's worth getting a Netflix subscription.
I'm a little concerned that you guys keep saying He-Man when it's actually Masters of the Universe, and there might be people that don't realize it's the same thing.
And then there's
That's no problem.
I mean, technically, it's He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. So I think
The show is called Masters of the Universe Revelation. There's no He-Man in the title.
here's the revelation: He-Man's the main guy.
Listen,
I mean,
I'm not trying to have a conversation with the people that don't understand that Masters of the Universe is He-Man, and that might be my shortcoming. I'll take that. Like, if the flaw in my reasoning is that people should know that He-Man and Masters of the Universe are the same thing, then I'll be that guy. But
here's my thing.
The show, and it clearly says He-Man and the Masters of the Universe on it.
Bet you it doesn't. That's the original show. Was He-Man and the Masters of the Universe?
Oh, Netflix original series.
It says right there.
Yeah.
And the original show said the same thing. So the original show came out, what, 83, 84? If people don't know Masters of the Universe is He-Man, fuck you people.
Now, where do we stand on the Dolph Lundgren movie?
where do we stay? Wait, has everybody talked about what they're talking about for
Oh yeah.
Sweet Tooth?
Sorry, I'm hosting wrong. Sorry. Oz, give us the review of Sweet Tooth.
We'll revisit He-Man.
4.5 because I didn't actually read that much of the books. It's a fun show. I'm glad I watched it. But if you don't, I wouldn't get Netflix to watch this show. But if you already have it, you definitely got to watch it.
Fair.
Hey, Oz,
And for me, it is a 4 out of 5. Like I really enjoyed it, even though I didn't like aspects of the changes. But at this point, it's like, okay, I'll see where it goes. I'm trying. I'm a big fan of Jeff Lemire's. I was trying to find a picture of me talking to him drunkenly at Comic-Con that I have floating around somewhere, and I couldn't find it to share with you guys.
Yeah,
but
it was like you were speaking to him and like 2 other people.
No, that one was just him. But I did do that was my day to do all the Dark Horse interviews, because we went from him to what was the other one?
Josh Williamson,
Tim Seeley, and Peter Hogan, I think.
Yeah, that was a good day.
Yeah. But yeah, look, I want to see him succeed, and we got Gideon Falls coming too. We'll see how that goes since they changed. Now, I preemptively stopped reading that just so that I can enjoy the show. But yeah, for me, it's a 4 out of 5. I would like to see it darker, but I understand in these pandemic times you want to make something for the whole family too, So it's not, you're all stuck at home together. You want your kids seeing a guy killing a pimp that traffics 15-year-old girls in bunny ears. Like,
amen.
Kid, that
look at that. That's a good learning experience right there.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. Look, yeah. It's like anybody says, "Hey, kid, I got candy." Tell them I don't give a fuck about my own candy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. Kick him in the balls, run away.
But yeah, Joe, why don't you summarize some Red Sonja for us real quick, and we'll jump into that review. And while you're doing that, I gotta go.
All right. So Red Sonja, Red Sonja, the Queen of the Plagues, is about Red Sonja helping out a king who had showed kindness to her when she was a slave in the gladiator pits. And she's basically comes to help him defend her castle, defend his castle from an invading army. And during the process of that, she gets the plague, and the whole city is infected. So they quarantine the city, they exile Sonia, and she goes on this kind of self-discovery, a journey of self-discovery. And when she finishes that, she goes to liberate the kingdom from their quarantine. So, yeah, this is one of our viewers pointed out, technically not really an animated feature, more of a motion comic. So, yeah, when it looks terrible, that's the reason why. Well, okay, that's not true. I've seen a lot of really good looking motion comics. This one just kind of went out of its way to look terrible.
Came out in like 2014 or something like that.
Or yeah, it came out not too long ago.
Yeah, animation technology wasn't that great back then.
2014 is like friggin' 7 years ago.
It was 2017 that came out.
Listen, we're not talking about a Shrek budget.
And even then, it was like the old He-Man and Voltron, those old motion comics from like the early 2000s look leagues better than this.
There's a lot of plagues on today's show. I don't know if I like it.
Right.
That's the world we live in.
There's a plague in Sweet Tooth because Jay didn't.
We got to give the people hope.
So yeah, like when people are talking, it looks especially bad.
Yeah.
Especially like when it's from the side and all they could do is just move the lower half of the jaw up and down. It's
true.
It just is upsetting to look at.
My favorite was when she kissed the girl on the head. You had to warp her lips, and it looked like she was like swallowing her head, like Batman on Catwoman.
Yeah, it's man. I really have a newfound appreciation for To Your Last Death.
Now,
let me recreate the animation style.
Right. That's like there is definitely like multiple points where it's like you have like the face, and all of a sudden it just like starts wavy. It starts to get wavy.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious.
I look, I hated To Your Last Death. Part of it was the animation was terrible. The story was like whatever. But the only thing that saved this is that it's the comic art, which is good. It just gets distorted and warped to make it seem motion. And if you ever read comics on Madefire, they're kind of like that. Only they do a better job of creating an ambiance. Like they have ambient sound. Like when they're walking through the forest, like I'm like, man, they have a good ass sound booth where they recorded these these vocals, because you don't hear any like environmental sounds. They don't try to make it seem like they're in the forest. It's literally like that Wolverine podcast thing, And even that did a better job. That did a better job of creating an ambiance. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know for me, I feel like the my review for the Red Sonja comic kind of applies here, where it's basically Conan, but a girl. And even here, like stylistically, there's not enough to like elevate it for me. It really is just like the Palmiotti had a little bit of style to it. This one, not as much to me. It's just straight girl Conan.
Conan, yeah.
Look, I'm glad
No,
that's what you went with.
no,
Could have been different.
Yeah.
Conania.
He could have put a U and a T in there somewhere.
So how did you guys like the story? Like getting past the terrible, terrible art. What did you guys think of the story?
I thought the story was okay. I would have much rather read some of those story elements. I'm glad we're talking about this today because I really felt reading it like, you know what? I wish they would have adapted this and it wasn't like shot for shot like the comic. Because some of these things, story elements, just work in comics. Like even the dialogue, some of this dialogue only works in comics. Like when you actually hear somebody say them, it doesn't. And even like the voices they choose to use, like I swear they literally just, I think they used a clip from Futurama with Zoidberg and for one of these dudes. You know, and it's like, you know, they're trying to create this sound experience, and it's like, you know what, I would have much rather read this. Like even oh, healer, my friend, like some guy says it like that, and it's like, no, you don't say that out loud. Like it's funny to
Right.
read because the word bubble tells you that it's just a guy in the background that you're not focusing on listening to. But then whoever directed this and directed these voice actors just put everybody on the same track and channel. So it's like it's literally like you can't differentiate between the inner monologue and her dialogue, you know, and that's a real detriment. I think if they would have fixed that for me, I would have gave it another point and a half or point of what I would give it in the final review.
I know for me personally, I liked that I wasn't reading it just because it's less work.
Yeah,
Right.
Like this level of story, like if I had to read it, I probably would have taken off another star. Like, yeah, like for this story, I feel good about just sitting back and like letting it tell itself to me and not like going through the issue of reading it. Or what about you, Lawrence?
I mean, like for me, I personally like really enjoyed it. Um, don't get me wrong, it has its shortcoming, especially when you talk about it in relation to animation and in relation to motion comics.
and Blu-rays,
Oh wait, why Blu-ray?
because they actually put it out on Blu-ray for people to buy it.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's surprising.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm just saying, it's like here's the thing. It's like one of these things where it's like all you have to do is watch a little bit of it to realize, like, okay, this is not ready for prime time. You know, like this is not like. And what did the listeners say that kind of prompted us down this path?
That it
well, what prompted us down this path was, but we were reviewing Red Sonja, and Mo asked me how I felt about the animated movie, and I said,
Right,
an animated movie, I'll buy that right now during the show.
right.
And then after
And yeah,
I was like, damn you guys, you're gonna watch this too.
and this is the whole thing where it's like, yeah, like I don't think you can call this an animated movie, and I'm pretty sure that's like basically what the listener said, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You said it's a motion comic, not an animated movie.
And I think the listener is in fact correct. They're like, this is definitely a motion comic and not an animated movie. And you know, um, depending on what part you come in at, you might even be able to be like make an argument whether it's a motion comic or not, just because it definitely is showing you the comic, but when you say motion, that implies something different. So, so I'm just saying, like, you can make an argument where at some points whether it's a motion comic or not. But either way it goes, right there it is. Like Oz got it right. Like exactly. But but you know, at the end of the day, the story is a good story, and it's like I probably would have felt different about it if I was just reading like this book or this series versus watching it as a motion comic because that's a whole different like level of commitment and attention. And like the story is good, but as far as like the motion comic aspect of it, it's kind of like, you know. So
Oz, what did you think? Did you watch this whole thing?
I was so angry. Um, when you guys said, "Hey, this is what we're talking about," I watched the trailer and I was out. I wanted to read the story, so I was looking for the for the actual book, and then I really got mad when Mo sent me a review copy. It's like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure you can't find it, so here's a copy." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I put a little bit on of it, and I just couldn't do it. But the story and the acting, I mean, I would put it on my phone and play it on my radio on my drive and just listen to it because that's not bad. Like it
Yeah.
has its issues, like you guys said, but if I don't have to,
if you don't have to what?
If you just have to watch it, you can only listen to it, then he's good. Talk about the actress, like the voice for Red Sonja was great.
I
It's
agree.
voiced by Misty Lee, and she's done a lot of stuff, but the best thing she's done is Paul Dini. Like she's his wife.
Oh, that's Paul Dini's wife?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So
And that makes a lot more sense because I know for me personally, I was listening to the voice acting and I'm like, only the main women are good.
yeah,
Like all look, and that was what was real. I was like, all these dudes are like they feel very subpar, especially like when you're talking about like I don't remember the king's name, but the king that helped free Red Sonja, like that dude was bad, and he voiced like 6 people, and I feel like 5 of those 6 people were bad too. And so I don't know. I know personally, like for those that don't know, it's like I'm out here like pursuing a career in voice acting, and I watched this joint and was listening to the men, not the women. The women were fantastic, but I was listening to the men, and I was like, this is what I'm afraid I will sound like when I do my first like animated gig. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I don't want to sound like this where I'm like, oh man, like somebody can listen to them and judge my performance in the way that I'm listening to it right now. And like, this doesn't sound like a professional gig for this person. Like it literally made me like go to the booth and like practice. No, it did. I was just like, you know what? Nah, I'm not gonna be this. This won't be me. So yeah, that's how I felt about it. And it wasn't like the worst thing in the world, mind you. I'm not saying like, oh, this all sounds like amateur hour. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is every performance that most of the men gave, I listened to and I was like, they could have done better, and that's messed up because it's like I don't like, and I can't tell you whether it's a thing where it's like the producers are like,
No, I get it. You're mad that the men weren't as good as the women on this project.
I'm not mad they weren't as good. I'm saying my
Disappointed.
thing is
Whatever. The point you
the
hate.
women put in the effort,
He's
and
saying
I'm not certain the men did. The end.
I thought you froze.
No, I didn't freeze. I thought, I thought someone was gonna say something, but no one did. So I'm like, okay, that's it.
All right, so let's rate this thing. Oz, what would you rate?
I'm gonna say a 3. Maybe if I actually read the comic, it'd get a higher score, like the comic itself, as opposed to this. It's just I can't watch it. But like I said, just put it out, have it playing on your phone, and go for a long ass drive, and you'll get some enjoyment out of it.
Mary Young?
I would give it, honestly, I'd probably give it like a 4 because the story in and of itself is fantastic. Like in my mind, like especially considering how we just like covered Red Sonja recently, I was like, man, like I was reading, like I read that last story and I read this story, and I'm like, Red Sonja stories are fantastic, or at least can be. And in my mind, I'm like, what if, like, I felt like I had done something wrong in not like reading enough Red Sonja. So by in that dynamic in and of itself, I was like, okay, like obviously these stories are doing something right. So I'll give it a 4 on the strength that the story and the art, like, well, the story's great, the art is decent. Obviously, we like if you want me to judge this as far as a motion comic is concerned, I guess that's a different metric. And so, like, maybe I give that like a 3 because the art is serviceable, the story is good, bordering on great. Like in my mind, I'm like if somebody was like, "Hey, we want to make a Red Sonja movie to come out in 2022," I feel like this book would be the place I would go to and try to adapt. I might not take every element from this story, but I would take like easily like 2 to 3 of the plot points in this book, and to be fair, I think there's only like 4 or 5, and maybe that's what I would use as my basis for the script that I'm gonna write. So I'm just like, it's a good story, and the art is decent enough. But when you try to like take decent art and like animate it, it's like, okay, no, you need good art. You know what I mean?
You like
Like
this,
you need.
you like this
Say
story?
again, Jay.
Do you like this story better than the Palmiotti?
I think I story wise, yes. I think story wise, I do like this story better than Palmiotti, especially when you're talking about it from like the perspective of someone who's like, I don't know anything about Red Sonja. I feel like this is a better, like, if you're gonna adapt one story or the other to the big screen or even the small screen, if we're just like we're gonna transition it from comics to a different medium, I feel like this is the better story to do that with, whether you're talking about TV or movies. However, it's like just from a comic perspective in and of itself, it's like, yeah, like I kind of feel like maybe you might want a little more. So, I mean, long story short, I'm gonna give it a 4 overall. And if you want to like break it down to minutia, maybe you get a slightly lower score or a slightly higher score.
Moses.
I would do like a 3.75. Like I like the story. I like the art. It's when the art starts warping that's the issue. So it's mainly the execution of this film.
Mm.
So yeah, that's what knocks out that like half the what 1.25 points. I do want to read the comic and the story itself. I it's hard for me to say if I like it better than the one we read, the Palmiotti one, only because that one we only read one issue. So
Mm.
see this, you essentially got the first trade paperback that Gail Simone did. So you got a complete story. And yeah, 3.75 for me.
And I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 3.5. There are certain aspects of the story I liked. Again, the overall style, like I'm just not a Red Sonja guy. I appreciate that it, like, I appreciate that Conan / Red Sonja fans would enjoy this. Personally, there were just like a few things that I really kind of liked. One of them not being the animation. And yeah, 3.5 for me.
What about us?
He
I
read.
went first.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry.
What about you, Hecht?
Yeah.
I didn't read it all, but I had a what's it called? I had a
Well,
Kool-Aid Jammer,
review,
and I'm gonna give that a 5 out of 5.
Hecht, review our review of this.
You guys made good points. I'll give it a 4. 4 out of 5.
Woo! Success.
I wasn't into the animation, but it was good.
So, time to wrap it up.
Time to wrap it up. I'm gonna play this wrap up music real quick and Joe, man, give us some final thoughts, dude.
You know, I kind of just want to say fuck Disney, but I'm sure there's some shit that is going on that I don't know. Like maybe I should be saying fuck Amazon. Fuck them both. Like I really am trying to watch The Owl House, and they are not making it easy for me.
Man, the mouse and Bezos are going to the moon. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean it's some bullshit. Like Apple has it. Like other services have it, but not Amazon. And it's like it's been like almost a week. So I don't understand what's happening. Like I don't like it.
Well, look, that's a big battle to have because we're still trying to get Fillmore too, man. I'm like hooked on it thanks to you guys' reviews. But heck, man, give us some final thoughts.
Fuck the Arizona government and this whole stuff with the ballots. The end.
Yeah.
We can't get political.
I'm Mayor Young, and I endorse that message.
It's not a party thing. It's a ballot thing.
There it is.
Because apparently they're in Montana now.
Oz, give us some final thoughts, bro.
Happy Picard Day, everybody. Not enough people celebrate Picard Day, as he once famously said, "Live long and may the force be with you."
Oh, boo! Why is it Picard Day?
Because that's just Picard Day. Like
No.
Picard Day is a thing. It has
No.
it has a date. It has a star date, which is 45165.2. That's probably wrong, but it's close enough. That translates to June 16th. So
Wait, what?
today we celebrate Picard.
Why does it translate to June 16th?
Because of science.
Yeah. And you know what? Picard, he went down.
For the rest of the Fantastic Forum, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week. We don't know what we're talking about yet. We're going to figure it out right now when you can't listen. And but you can follow us, stay up to date with what we're going to be talking about. Hit the bell, hit the like. You can join us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of that. And everything else you might need to know, you can just get at fantasticforum.live.
Don't knock me
Did you
off.
skip something?
I just got left out.
I think you skipped.
It's okay.
words. You skipped.
I love you all anyway.
Yeah, but
He
Yeah.
hates Picard Day, so it's fine.
all right, well, give your final thoughts now. Larry, final thoughts.
Good night, everybody.
The following may contain language that be offensive to some people and in
Oh, sorry, that was me. Ah, damn it! I meant to hit this.
I jumped the gun because